From a super secret location deep within the mountains of Colorado, it's time to strap up, strap in, or strap on with your host, Shenanigans in One Shot. It's From the Ashes Radio!
Welcome to From the Ashes.
You son of a bitch.
On About Face Radio. I am.
Oh, that was awful.
My hetero life mate, Robert Shenanigans Williams. That was not the cat.
That was not. Yeah, clearly that was not the cat. That we go through hours of show prep. We so much time and effort and resources are invested into getting this show just right. And just before we go live, all you hear is and that dude gets an evil chuckle on his face. Not nice, man. Not nice at all. Hey, I've been pushing buttons and playing with the audio, folks. I need to know, how do we sound? What do you think? I need your feedback. How are we doing? That kind of thing. Yeah, I've been playing with the mics and stuff, so I'd love to hear what you think and how everything sounds.
I think it's great, besides when you're moving around the mic and this way and then talking over here.
So that's the feedback we got. So this microphone, like, you can talk through the side of it and whatnot. Yours is unidirectional, so you have to talk right
like this?
into the. Yes, you have to talk into the tip. So
just the tip.
Just the tip.
I think I've done better now that we've gotten some professional criticism.
Yeah, well, yeah,
like,
yeah.
Hey,
of course,
guys,
we have.
I do this for a living, and you suck. Quit doing this. But
well,
we're getting there.
Hey, and Brandon Bartlett sends that we sound great, so that's all that matters to me. That's the feedback I'm looking for. So you or I were on a podcast one time. A guy named Instagrant, and you have a button for that.
I know.
You never remember to
it
reach
was already
over.
coming before I could get to it.
I'm so excited about this thing. We have all kinds of buttons,
But fun.
And his girl knits Mike socks.
I know, and you're getting me one.
Both of us, and
know.
yes, they're done. They're in the mail. I can't wait to get them. I'm excited.
See, that's what happens when you hold it in.
Yes, it is exactly.
And bad breath, man. Like, that's why you don't hold a fart in.
Well, I don't
want
have
that shit to creep up and come.
I have cigar breath, so I know my breath is perfect. I don't have to worry about that.
I don't have that.
No, you don't smoke cigars at all.
At all, ever.
Never would.
I can remember every cigar I've had since probably 21.
So we're getting hit up by a few cigar shops asking us to come broadcast from their shop. And I'm like, thus far, I have been like, nah, my homeboy doesn't smoke. So
no, I actually kind of like the smell of cigars.
Oh,
it wouldn't bother me.
Oh, well, in a cigar shop, there's a lot to the smoke. So it's
thicker.
Yeah. It's
got some more girth.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know. I've been there. I don't, for something that is that
y'all look all official. We do.
And nice. I got my killing shirt on.
Yeah. Killing in the name of, I mean,
for something that costs that much money, I feel like I should enjoy it more. Not saying that, not judging the people who do enjoy it, just not something I really don't enjoy cigars that much.
I totally get it.
And I'm sure you could find the right one that I would.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have a new vice that costs me money, and I'm trying to eliminate all of them in life.
And she's pregnant. Yeah, and you're having a kid, man. I mean, right? The chief of security upstairs, believe me. I don't know why we look. Frank Fields is watching. Do you know who Frank Fields is?
Sounds familiar.
So Frank Fields and I we worked together in Aurora as paramedics in 2004. He was an EMT. He was in paramedic school at the time, and we worked together on the overnights in Aurora.
I'm sorry, Frank.
Yeah.
I already know the answer. What I need to say for him.
If I remember this correctly, I think it was Frank that's allergic to avocado, but loves guacamole.
That's not
possible. So we would go to Chipotle at like 10 o'clock at night. And Chipotle. And later in the evening, he would have to take an epinephrine because that dude was like, his lips were all gigantic and whatnot. It was hysterical. I think it was Frank. I'm not sure if that was the same partner, but he ended up becoming the chief of Strasburg Fire Department out in like on the I-70 border. If you know where Strasburg is, in farm town. So he was for the longest time the chief of the fire chief out there. He goes, LOL fact. That was so yeah, that was it. He allergic to avocado, but loves guacamole. It doesn't check out. I don't get it, man. But whatever. Different strokes for different folks.
I don't know if you named off a couple foods that I really care about, if I was allergic to them, I don't know if I'd cut them out of my diet.
Really?
No.
You're grooving on them, huh?
Like if you said I'm allergic to shellfish, I'm still eating fucking lobster and crab, bro. It's not an option.
Have you heard about that like tick bite you get and it makes you allergic to beef?
No.
So here in Colorado, if you get bit by a certain tick, it'll make you allergic to red meat. In my head, it's the best way to die. It's how I'm going, man.
I was picturing like sanitizing a room and never leaving it so that I could never be bit by a tick.
Yeah.
Like that's how I'm gonna die. I'm like, I'm just gonna make sure I never get bit.
Best way to go as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
But what do you call it? So our friend, so we can get into Combat Carl real quick because it's that time. We have a very loyal listener named Joanna. Remember her? She's from the chick from Alaska that rode her motorcycle down here. Yes. We had a hard time getting through security.
That was fun.
Hashtag live. Who else we got? She does something with the Navy and putting people in the Navy. I'm not sure what it is. And she was super excited to send us this story.
A recruiter?
She's not a recruiter. She is not. She's a civilian. And I'm not sure what it is. A bite from the Lone Star tick can cause people to develop an allergy to red meat, including beef and pork. Yeah, either you'd find me swinging from a shower curtain rod, dude, or you'd find me with a half-eaten steak in my mouth dead. It's my second favorite way to go. So Johanna sends us the story about how last week about how the Navy has dropped its high school completion requirement. You don't have to have a high school diploma to join the Navy. Well, sure enough, what happens a week and a half later? The United States Army says you no longer have to have a high school diploma to join the United States Army. Thoughts?
Okay, so I was just posting the show.
Yeah, I saw. Of course, it comes out of Texas.
Imagine that. I have just the article pulled up, and so again, I'm going to play devil's advocate. So, Navy's personnel bosses touting the service latest policy shift, dropping the requirement that applicants have a high school diploma or GED certificate, a move aimed at getting more sailors in uniform amid recruiting crisis. Blah, 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 blah. The service said that January 6th that applicants with armed forces qualification test or AFQT scores of 50 or higher who do not have a diploma can still enlist. I think that is a big detail that isn't in the headline that should be listed.
Is that you got to score the 50 on the AFQT?
Right.
Which is a code word for your ASVAB kids.
Yeah, and I had to ask that because I
didn't take an AFQT. I took a fucking ASVAB.
Right. So here's the thing:
you can cough, man. I'll hit the button if you want me to.
I swallowed it. I cannot get rid for like 2 days. There's no phlegm hardly. There's no. So here's the deal. I remember this well because I had a GED.
No, I'm just reading Jody Owens' comment. Pickings are getting slim.
So if you didn't have a high school diploma and you're a GED person, you couldn't get wavered if your score wasn't good enough.
There was a reason. Keep talking.
Okay. And then, if you got a college diploma, your score didn't matter basically, or whatever. I'm not going to get the details perfect, but here's the deal. If you're educated and can't score a 50 on the ASVAB, I don't want you in the military. So I'm almost looking at this like the ASVAB score of 50 is like a general knowledge, like you're a mentally functional, I guess. Poor choice in words. But if you can score a 50, why does it matter?
So a couple things to go with that. The reason it was like that is because what they don't want is kids dropping out of high school and getting their GED just so they can enlist. So there's a window. There's a 6-month window from the time that you drop out of high school, or there used to be, that you couldn't enlist because they didn't want you dropping out of high school
to enlist.
But
don't you have to be 18?
Yeah. Well, 17, but yeah, you're exactly right.
Right.
Yeah.
But if you're 17, don't you have to do delayed entry until you're 18 or something like that?
You can join at 17 with mom and dad's permission.
Okay.
So yeah.
Either way, like
that's where the homeschool kids come in.
From the I'm a homeschool kid.
No, I know. I was only half ragging on you.
I'm only looking at this from a personnel standpoint. If you can pass the requirements, I don't care about your background at some level.
Because I like your attitude about this.
Yes.
Our United States military, our army exists to go forth and kill those that stand in our way and those that are seeking to oppress democracy.
Yes.
That is what the sole reason we exist. All the other bullshit, the diversity and blah, 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 blah. That is not why our nation's army exists. So if you can score a 50 on the ASVAB, high school diploma or not, and you can go forth and you can kill bad guys, good luck to you. You got this.
So let's say you do have an associate's degree and you score a 30.
Very common.
I know.
Yeah, you do.
Should you be able to be wavered?
No.
See, and that's kind of what I'm getting at is for those of you that have not taken the ASVAB, if you can't, oh shit, you scored at least a 50, right?
I was a medic.
So you scored at least a 50, right?
At least a 51.
I got a funny story about mine in a minute, but
go ahead. We'll finish your first thought and then we'll get to that.
That's what I'm saying. I have 2 scores. 3 actually. I have 3 scores.
The blue cord's coming out.
It is.
Hang on, I want to try something.
There it is.
We have new buttons.
I don't think you should. If you can't score 50 on the ASVAB, you shouldn't be in the fucking military. Like you have to be real dumb to not have a 50. Sorry, crayon eaters out there that scored 40. And are got in. I'm sorry I offended you, but no, I'm serious.
Passing on the ASVAB is actually a 32. They're saying these folks that have dropped out of high school have to score a 50. But please continue your point.
Yeah. My point is over right there. If you can't score a 50 on the ASVAB, why? I mean, you're destined to. Would you like an apple pie with that?
Yeah. Would you like?
That's bad.
Ding.
So here's my 3 scores.
Well, that'll be stuck in my head all night.
My first ASVAB score was 17.
Now, was that because you took it in high school and you're like, this gets me out of class? Because that was me.
No,
that was my first ASVAB.
No, it's because I partied all weekend, could barely read the screen, and I was like, we're just gonna go see. And so they came back and like, you can't get anything. You can't even get in.
Yeah,
but you can take it again. So I took it the next day and I got a 99.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay,
how does that
because
happen?
that jump is so much, you have to prove that
it
was real. And I was like, I'm not real dumb. I just couldn't even read the screen. I was probably still high.
I'm glad you said that.
So I redid it at a 97. So basically the same. So I had 3 scores. So
Junior, a couple of weeks ago, we
scored less than 50.
No. I don't think he's taken the ASVAB. He's taken the practice exams when I was a recruiter for my last 2 years. A couple of weeks ago, we were having a conversation about politics and who would you want to be president, alive or dead? Junior's like Cassius Clay. And you and I both thought to ourselves, why does he want Muhammad Ali, the boxer, to be president of the United States? Well, the kid's been hounding me for 2 weeks now. Cassius Clay is the guy that was advising Abraham Lincoln during the Revolution. There's a history lesson there that you and I didn't know about. Junior watched some stupid YouTube video and he wanted to make sure that we set the record straight that Cassius Clay
was not talking about Muhammad Ali.
Exactly.
So I did know that Abraham Lincoln had an advisor. I did not know I might have known at one point because I used to study a lot of Abraham Lincoln and a lot of appreciation for that guy. Also the only president besides Trump they tried to keep off the ballot. Just throw that in there.
You're welcome, Alan from Patriot Cigars.
So I didn't know he had an advisor. I did not know that's who it is. And now I am slightly impressed.
Yeah.
Because I really thought he wanted Muhammad Ali, which I thought it was because he was jumping on the bandwagon because Muhammad Ali was very political and very...
I'm not going to Vietnam. Ain't no Vietnamese ever done nothing to me.
He was part of lots of movements, and I'm not saying I agree or don't agree. I love Muhammad Ali. I've met him before.
No shit.
Yeah. Not in his young. Well, obviously, I'm not young enough, but I met him when I was like in high school.
Where did you meet Muhammad Ali?
So Muhammad Ali was really good friends with this owner of a shoe company who I worked for when I was in high school, and I got to like bump into him once.
You have a long and storied history.
It was like it wasn't like a cool thing.
Oh, really?
It was like a 2-second thing.
High five. Nice to meet you. See you later. Bye.
Yeah. But either way, I like the guy. I love his strength in standing up for the things he believed in, whatever they might be. His conviction was real in what he cared about.
I'm down with it. I get it. I totally get it. Yeah.
He's a hell of a boxer too.
I mean, yeah. I mean, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, and you got the boxing thing with you. I mean, I couldn't tell a good boxer from a bad one unless he's laying on the canvas. So I know a bad one when we were at the Western Sox Show or wherever that was, or Jefferson Fairgrounds. So yeah, purple-haired kid laying on the canvas with you standing over him. Other than that, I don't know shit about boxing. Eric Reed, hey, Junior is smarter than both of you. That is not the way I would word that.
No.
He watched one YouTube video, Reed. It's good to see you, man. How you been?
He would word it like that.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. He's been taking a lot of exams lately, so we'll find out. All right. So we are over time. Let me go get our guest. Hang on one second. Let me move this. We desperately need a wireless mouse for this show.
I'm excited for this one, by the way.
Are you?
Yeah.
Let's find out.
What's up, gentlemen?
All right. We're already starting with the name calling, are we? All right. That's how the interview is going to start, huh?
Well, I figured to be polite. I mean,
I love your background. That is a badass Vietnam era helmet. That is fucking tight, dude.
That's very
well,
cool.
the helmet is for my dad. When I was a kid, I swore he told me that's the one he wore in Vietnam.
I believe it.
Borrowed it for this photo. He said, "Well, no, I got it from somewhere else, but who knows?" Dad's getting up there, so.
And that looks like a Vietnam era helmet, if I've ever seen one.
Yep,
should we tell our guest about what you did to me last night?
Hey, let's keep it PG.
All right,
no, this is
Michael,
not a PG show.
This is not a PG show, and I am never PG. But Michael, I wanted to pull up a little. I always go the night before our show. I try and do a little bit of background, and I slightly knew who you were. But I was
scary.
doing some Googling. You ever Googled your name?
I'm gonna leave that joke alone. Yeah, I pulled myself up here and there, but God, what did it bring up?
So there's
motherfucker.
Needless to say, I texted Rob and I was like, "Are you sure you want to have this Michael Peterson guy on? You know he's a fucking convicted first-degree murder guy."
Oh God, yeah,
like,
I've seen that.
Now you know what I'm talking about. So just a snapshot on the other Michael Peterson. He was charged with first-degree murder. He did a long stint in prison, ended up getting out, proclaimed his innocence for a very long time, has written many books over it. And so when you Google Michael Peterson and you're not real specific, this dude has a lot online.
Yeah.
A lot. So
dude scared the shit.
So I texted Rob this and he's like, "What the fuck are you talking about? Is that real?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's real. Michael Peterson killed a motherfucker." He's like, "Do you think we should cancel him?" I was like, "I don't know. Google, bro."
we don't talk about that.
Let's put it this way: bones make good carbon for knives.
So, Michael Peterson, you're on a veteran law enforcement based show. Can you tell us about your background?
Tell us about you, dude. How did this party get started?
Before we get to your cool stuff.
Well, my name's Michael Peterson. I'm a son of a Vietnam veteran, Chris Peterson. My mom, who is a retired deputy sheriff, Geraldine Peterson. I'm 39, 38 going on 39, I guess. I don't fucking know anymore, honestly. Do the math. I live here in Aurora, Utah. The father of 3. And single, happy, glad to be. Full-time bladesmith after 2.5 years now. Going on almost 3 full-time. But yeah, other than that, I like to hunt, fish, and I like a little bit of political talk and a lot of the get your hip boots out and talking a lot of bullshit too. So there's a lot of that in the shop. So
Rob Garcia, one of our favorite connections, says Mike woo in big all caps. So welcome to the show,
yeah,
man.
before I forget, I want to do if I don't mind, a couple shout outs. So first of all,
man, that's what it's for.
My buddy Kevin Beck, who got me started introduced me to sorry, Dr. Robert Garcia. My best NPR radio voice there.
There it is.
And then kind of down the hill there. And then, as you can see, I'm sure you're familiar with Eric Grant with the 22 Salute Vodka. I did these pictures for cross promotion for them. That's actually my shop. You're seeing there with the pictures I did with my camera. Actually, I think I just did it with my phone with these. So,
what, the pictures you mean?
Yeah, that's one. My screen on the back, if you can see it. That's actually my Coke. This is a Coke Forge I had going. Actually, I started a little fire to do some pictures, and so yeah. And then also, I'm teaching my. Thanks, Robert, for the reminder. I'm not the greatest at improv here for interviews sometimes. The wonders of ADHD.
We aren't either.
My daughter's 14 and going on 15. She following the family footsteps of a third generation bladesmith. So when she decides that she's broken, wants some money, she goes out there and pound out some steel. Robert did a little bit of article. As you can see, he dropped it there in the comments there. Yeah.
So when did you start bladesmithing?
I started when I was 10. I've been forging since I was 4 years old, build my own forges. When Dad would get done with the shop, I'd go out there. If he wasn't using the forge for anything, I'd get on there, start it back up. I probably burned up more steel than I did anything good at that time. So I grew up in the bladesmithing community. I've been doing it on and off since then. I started full-time making knives seriously about 13, hitting shows on and off for years. Up to about 10 years ago when I moved back into this property where I'm at today, where my dad's original shops are 10 years ago, and got those back up and started doing more and made connections and started working for the last 10 years to go full time. And here I am today. I make custom knives.
We have a very loyal listener. We call him Hatchet around here. And I had never seen the TV show Forged. I had never didn't know squat about it. And so, of course, Rob Garcia connects you and I. He's like, you got to check this guy out. So I go and I start watching this TV show. Have you ever watched Forged?
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought you might.
Fire.
Yes. Forged in Fire. And super cool show for those that haven't seen it. So I didn't know anything about it. The name Damascus keeps coming up. What is Damascus? What does that mean? I thought it was a place.
Damascus is basically layered steel. It's an evolution from the old Woots steel that was originally invented in India. Oh shit, I can't remember the year. I should have looked that up. But it was originally invented in India. They smelted down iron, and then once it got down the bottom, they worked it out and then folded it a few times to work out the impurities, and which ended up causing a pattern in it. It's patterned steel, welded steel as well. It went from India, was traded off to the King of Persia, and was more developed in Syria, Damascus. That's where the name Damascus comes from. That's where it was kind of, and then it was traded out from there. The secret of it was traded and sold throughout the trades of the Middle East and into Japan and Asia, and was perfected on different continents. So basically what Damascus is today is a high carbon and a medium to low carbon steel stacked up in a big cake. Forge weld that together, stretch it out, fold it a few times. More you fold it, more layers you get. Alternator layers of, I use 15 and 20 and cable. Roll that up, fold it. I just made some chef knives out of it, a 416 layer Damascus steel. So I don't know if you've seen those pictures or not.
I've seen the pictures. I didn't know what I was looking at.
Yeah, that would be it.
Okay. All right, cool.
Well, so you're on this, just to pick on you a little bit, if you read the description above, it tells you.
Yeah, well, I'm not the brightest bulb. Thank God I'm extremely attractive.
Hey, we all went to government school.
What do you call it? So Forged in Fire. So you get selected to go on this TV show. Tell us about Forged in Fire.
Oh, well, that was an awesome trip. That was 5 years ago. My cousin, shout out to my cousin Erin. She started watching it with her boy. She found it, and I didn't have cable at the time. She's telling me about the show, so I got cable. Check it out. All right. So after about 6 months of her badgering me to apply, I applied, got an interview. Waited a year, didn't hear nothing. Messaged him back. Hey, they did another interview, and then about 6 months later, got a phone call. Hey, we had a guy drop out. We need a fill in. Here's the dates. Can you do it? I says, yeah, sign me up. Traveled out to Connecticut. Met some other great guys, like Ken Hall, Tim Troyer, John Wigger, great bladesmith. It was intense. As you know, Will Wills, he's a veteran too. I believe he's Air Force. Came from Army Rangers to Air Force. Great guy, met him, and it was fun. It was. I was a nervous wreck getting there because I'm not the kind of person that like to get in front of cameras or do any, through school or any plays or anything like that. It put me in the spotlight, and I'm out the other way. But it was intense from start to finish. From the first day filming through the different sections, and then coming home building the weapon, and the final weapon here. Spoiler alert, if you haven't watched the show, I made it to the third round. Then I went back and everything else. But yeah, it's kind of interesting when you break a blade on live, not live TV, but national TV, going, what the hell to do, and lock it up and screaming in your head. But it was a learning experience. I had fun, made a lot of connections because of that show. I think it also helped me steer me forward where I'm at today. Because now, since my episode aired, the first time was 2.5 million viewers. Now it's gone worldwide. I've got people from all over the world that's following my page there on Facebook and Instagram. So it's kind of weird. I guess I'm world known now. So,
well, good on you. Good on you. So this show, our show, is aimed at veterans, first responders, people like that. We have a lot of folks that, obviously we get hit up all the time from different knife makers and whatnot. And we've auctioned off knives on this show to raise money for veterans causes on this show. Veterans are a lot of them are popping up with making knife making companies and things like that. Tell us about making a knife. Is it worthwhile? Is it therapeutic? I mean, we're aiming at veterans. You made a very generous offer for, I think, 10% off for a veteran or first responder that mentions our show, comes to you and wants to learn how to make a knife.
Also, for any custom order is 10% off. Also, I'm going to step that up. I offer knife making experiences where you come to the shop. I give you hands-on. I got 3 different classes you can select through. I'm offering a 25% for all veterans and first responders as well. My goal is to eventually turn that into a charity where veterans can come and work out through work with therapy, recreational work therapy. And sorry, nose itchy. Somebody's thinking about me. Robert, quit thinking about me so hard.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Right. But I've worked with some veterans, a couple of veteran charities before with work raising funds for work therapy. Mm-hmm. As I mentioned, my dad is a Vietnam veteran. He has told me over the years that that's one of the things that help him forging and working through, when you're working steel, you're working through a problem, you got to find that workaround and things. I didn't really understand a lot of what my dad was going through when I was growing up, because, growing up, you don't know. I'm not a veteran. Several friends of mine who came back from Iraq and Afghanistan was sharing with me with their steps and their therapy and the things they gone through. Kind of really opened the curtains up of the insides of when you're a kid, you don't understand why this or that is going on, or why dad, that, but that really opened up a lot of things and made me understand. And working with a few guys that work with charities through recreational work therapy with bladesmithing, that way you can really just kind of focus in onto something. I mean, heating a piece of steel up, and if you need to work out some anger, get a good inch bar. That's a good way to work that out, and turn. Matter of fact, buddy of mine I worked with for quite a few years. He went over to Iraq. He ended up getting some shrapnel, a couple ball bearings that almost got him. Pulled a shred of shrapnel out of his helmet. He kept that, and when he brought it back, so we took that, mixed it with some other components that he had from there. We actually did a canister, forge welded that all together, and then worked it a little bit and turned that into a knife for him. So he's like, he was here a little bit when he could to help out. And it helped.
You took
him
a veteran's piece of shrapnel and made it into a knife?
Yeah.
That's fucking badass, man.
Yeah, ball bearing. It was some ball bearings. I mean, the front end of the, I want to say it was at a Humvee. I can't remember. It's been a while since we talked to that story. But yeah, I took the ball bearing, all the shrapnel that basically, it got stuck in him or almost got him. He brought that home and he got thinking about it. We turned that into a knife for him. So he's like, we took that negative and we forged it in a positive that he could use it for either self-defense in the home for protect his family now, or cook a dinner with it. And he actually, there was parts of a bayonet that they detained a guy, and for some reason the guy got loose and got a hold of his weapon that they took away from him, and almost got him with that bayonet. So we took that apart, took all the components that we could use. Like I said, put it in a canister. We're making canister Damascus with a high carbon steel, and stretch that out, fold it a few times, get it some light layer count to have some contrast. But yeah, so that cool. Now that's we took that negative that almost took his life from combat, and we put it into a positive. So now he got that. He can use that to, like I said, defend his family or cook dinner or whatever. It's forging a negative into a positive is basically.
I like how you're saying that, forging a negative into a positive.
Yeah, me too. Go ahead. What were you saying?
And that was it right there.
That is badass.
That is super, super cool. Well, you get this too. How many friends do you have that have started forging, blacksmithing, beaten metal as their therapy post?
Yep.
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah.
Few are good.
Yeah. There it is. There it is. There it is.
So if you want to get into it, you might want to go to Michael's place and learn a little bit first.
Hey,
I got a couple
you guys
places.
ain't too far away, so come to the shop.
No, we're not, right?
Yeah, you're only like, you guys are what, Newcastle?
No, we're at a super secret location just south of Denver.
Oh, you're way over there.
Yeah. Well, you can't get into this compound, so you have to be escorted. Our security detail is very, very on point.
Yeah, you're not that far. You're like 7 hours drive time.
Yeah.
So 6 hours.
Get over here. We'll drag Robert up. We'll drag Robert up out of San Diego. We'll have a great time. We'll do a weekend and forge out some blades.
Well, that makes me my next question. How long does it take to make a knife?
For me, generally, altogether, probably about 22 hours. For one of my experience, whatever you want to call it, about a day for a Damascus drop point 100 knife. That's from forging it from an already pre-made Damascus billet on up through the steps, from forging the blade out, grinding, heat treating, cleaning it up, handles selection, prep, and gluing on, finishing and such. About 8 hours there. But
we could take that Harley in the motor pool and we could make something useful out of it.
Speaking of material, a guy I used to work with, he's worked for the Guard full time now. He brought in some kind of turret arm for one of the big howitzers, the self-propelled howitzers. I think it was torsion bar. He brought that in, and I've been making knives out of that for his family. So,
I see you looking behind me on the bookshelf. You're looking at see every veteran right now that's listening to this show
has items
are looking at their bookshelf right now, going, "I would love to turn that into a knife."
What's funny is you're not.
I'd be glad to help you out.
War trophies home.
You are not.
You're not.
You know what?
There's nothing behind Rob.
I'm sorry. What, Michael?
The shells from the howitzers, I can't remember the size. I'm drawing a blank on that. But the steel from the shells, man, that stuff forge welds beautifully. It works. So I'd love to get more of it.
Dude, I have no idea. I've never even gotten to pull the trigger. I got to ride in one once, but I never got to pull the trigger. I always wanted to.
That'd be kind of fun.
Pull the string on a howitzer. I've always wanted to do that.
I mean, yeah.
But they don't get to do their job very often. They're certainly not going to let you do it. So whatever, man. Hey, Michael, I want to be as respectful as your time. I know you're a family man. You got to get back to your family. I'm going to pass you over to my hetero life mate here, and he is going to, what does that say? 155 rounds.
Yes, that's right.
175.
Thank you.
Junior says 75.
Awesome. If you got a piece of that, you want to make a knife, bring it in.
He's like, that's fun to work with.
I'm going to pass you over to my hetero life mate here. He's going to give you the on the way out instructions.
All right, Michael. Well, as disappointing as it was for you not to be a murderer and on the show, I would like to talk to that guy too. No, I'm just kidding. I was excited to have you on the show. Thanks a lot for being on the show. At the end of your guest time, we give you about 2 minutes. If there's something you wanted to talk about that we kind of skated around, and that's pretty much it. Just your time to go over whatever you want. Please do me one favor, though. Make sure you include your contact info on socials, how to follow you, and things like that, please.
Yes, sir. I gotta say, just like I said, we offer 25% off for all veterans and first responders here for our knife making experiences. I book them as a first come, first serve. I usually Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturdays. Sometimes I've got 3 different classes you can pick from. 10% off for all your guys' listeners on all custom orders.
Drop the words from the ashes.
Yep. That is the promo code. You can find me at Mike's. I've made a few of those too.
I love this skull splitter.
Yes. I'm actually going to set up where we're going to do a class on that. Once I get into a newer building, I'm about out of room where I'm at. I'm working on plans to expand my operation. I hope at some point in the near future to have a full charity for all veterans and first responders to come take a class for free. That's one of my goals. I got a lot of irons in the fires between a lot of things, and big shout out again for Dr. Robert Garcia and Kevin Beck for getting me into all this stuff. But yeah, it's a passion I like. I'm doing what I want. I'm by the grace of God able to go full time, and every time I make a knife sale, I say a prayer of thanks, and I hope all this makes sense. So I appreciate you guys having me in.
Let's do those contacts again. Rob kind of distracted you.
Sorry, that was my fault.
Just say again.
Give your contact info one more time.
Your socials.
You can find me at www.mikesdamascusknives.com or on Facebook at Mike's Damascus. Good Lord. Mike Damascus LLC, and on Instagram at Mike D Knives, and Mike D Knives on, I think, TikTok, but I don't do very much there because I hate that thing. And Twitter as well.
Hey, man, so if folks wanted to watch your episodes of Forged in Fire, where would they find that? Do you know?
You can find that if you got Samsung TV. We have our own Forged in Fire channel. It's season 5, episode 37. You got Roku, season 1 through 7. On Amazon Prime, you can find it there. But for some reason, they have it as listed at episode 38 of season 5. Why? I have no idea. Apparently, somebody doesn't know how to type numbers right. Don't be scared. Don't get too scared when you pull it up and you see my ugly face down there going, ooh.
If it's not on Pornhub, I haven't watched it. So, I mean, yeah, but I had to go find your show.
I'll send you that private link there to the OnlyFans, pictures of my feet hold blades. But hey, what you guys, real quick, if you don't mind, you guys are talking about cigars. I don't mind a good cigar now and then, but that's something I want to get into. Maybe we'll have to talk for your show is some custom cigar cutters. Damascus.
Oh, you just excited the gentleman next to me.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen,
I feel sorry for you then.
You just hit the nail on the head, dude. Well done. We will definitely talk after the show. After we go off the air tonight, you'll get a text message.
All right, Michael, thank you so much for being on the show.
Just make sure you don't send the pictures to me like you did accidentally the other day. That I'm still scarred and seeking therapy.
Look, man, you got to send them. You got to send nudes to get on the show. It's just what has to happen. Ladies and gentlemen, we have been talking with Michael Peterson with Mike's Damascus Knives. If you haven't checked them out, you desperately need to. It's quality stuff. If you go to his site and you use the term From the Ashes, or you reach out to him and you say, hey, I heard you on From the Ashes radio, you're going to get a hefty discount and you're going to get to make yourself a pretty badass knife. I've always wanted to make one. So, Mike, I can't thank you enough.
You guys get your asses out here. We'll drag Robert out of his comfy little Air Force chair there. Sorry, I got to pick on Rob. Sorry, Rob. And get him up here. We'll have a great weekend.
Sounds good. Thanks for the invite.
Can't thank you enough, man.
Thank you, guys.
You ever made a knife?
No.
Yeah, I don't think I have. I have not either. Like you said, we've had lots of people reach out. Yeah, I would. I have always wanted. I have one knife that I want, and I want to take an elk antler, preferably an elk I've shot, and make a steak knife out of it for obvious reasons, because steak's delicious.
I know that antler handled knives are like really common, and I've never been a fan of them because I wasn't thinking of it as a steak knife. I was thinking about it as a functional like knife. You have the sheath under, and they're terrible for that.
Yeah, but if you're eating dinner,
yeah,
which I'm a huge fan of, it's my second favorite meal. Well, third, right after breakfast and lunch.
I like all,
and sometime midnight snacks. But yeah, I have not.
I've always wanted, and I think it's just because of my algorithms. I've been seeing a lot of the really cool Damascus, like kitchen knives, or like, well, not knives, knife. It's like the voodoo for chopping, cutting, and doing all this stuff. And I wanted to get one of those. Well, I don't have one.
Over the summer, I was learning how to cook. I took a couple of cooking classes and I was learning. And what I found is that like the shitty knives that we got, knife block that we got at Walmart, that you don't realize just how awful those knives are. So I went, terrible. Yeah, they really are awful. And I didn't, until you've held a quality knife, you don't recognize that. You're like, no, it's just a knife. We'll give it a buck. And then, you know, obviously Sandy and Joe hooked me up with those kitchen knives. And so I bought a bunch of those, and it makes a huge difference. Yeah.
I'm like somewhere in between Walmart and Nice.
I can get that.
And like every time I've like gone from like the cheapest to Walmart, and then I'm like, I'll get to a little bit nicer ones, to like the really nice ones at Walmart, and then I get like the post Walmart next stage up. I'm a little bit higher up than that, but I keep thinking like I really should just bite the bullet and get like the voodoo, but I haven't gone full voodoo. But
Michael Peterson, I can definitely make some knives with elk antlers and make steak knives as well. I love that our guests are still listening to the show. Usually they're like, get me the hell out of here.
That was an exciting one. I've really enjoyed our conversation last night too, though. I won't quit laughing about that. I had you so good. You almost texted him and canceled him on the show tonight.
Legit.
Yeah, I know you were 100% serious as a heart attack.
So I'm watching the game.
Yes.
We've got friends over. Everybody's doing the nachos guacamole thing. And I get your text message, and I'm like my heart leaps into my throat. So I go into the kitchen, and I'm texting back with you. I'm like, dude, are you for real? Is this serious? This guy's a murderer. What are you talking about, man? And you're like, you should Google it. So I'm Googling this dude's name.
Yes.
And up it pops. I'm like, oh, Michael Peterson. And I'm looking at the pictures. And I'm like, that doesn't even look like him. I'm like, dude, I don't think it's the same guy. And you're like, are you sure? I'm like, you motherfucker.
Because they don't look alike. The other Michael Peterson's a nerd.
But I'm scrolling.
He does not look like a Viking. He looks like a nerd.
Yes. And so, you know, Sandy sees me in the kitchen, and she's like, are you okay? And I'm like, I'm not okay. And she comes in the kitchen, and she's like, what's going on? I'm like, here, read this text message from Seth. And she's looking at it, and she's like, oh my. And so I send the text back to you. I'm like, should I cancel this guy? And Sandy's like, you need to cancel him right this second. And I'm like, oh my God. Hopping in to say hi, Brandy Rector. I owe you an email. Things have been so crazy. We landed a huge Brandy Rector. So the chick from Semperfly Helicopters.
Yep.
Yes. Junior.
She's on my bucket list of guests that I need to go hang out with.
Agreed completely.
We need to go fly around in a helicopter in a little whirly bird,
and we've sent her a bunch of emails. But she's so good at what she does, and her company is exploding. That she doesn't have time to for anything else. She just had a huge expansion too. So
well, good for her.
We're gonna head to Oklahoma. And
she was probably a top 5 guest, I think, for us.
No question. No, once you get past the Marine Corps part, she's super cool.
Well,
remember
we need the Navy.
Yes, we absolutely yes. and they're guards. That's bananas. Trying to think here. What else? We got some crazy good guests coming up. Hey, folks, if you have not gone to Thigh Huggers, go to Thigh Huggers. We love them. They literally just sent us a check.
Isn't that amazing?
I know.
So people they love those Ranger panties, silkies, whatever you want to call them. I think probably the best. Not probably. Definitely there's a lot of civilian companies making them. Thigh Huggers is by far the absolute best. I would know. I have a lot of them. Yeah, Thigh Huggers. I have a bunch of all of them, and they definitely make the best quality product. And they sponsor me, so
we've won awards for wearing their shorts. Awards.
You know, I've personally won awards for wearing them in public.
In public,
some things you cannot make up. But if you go to Thigh Huggers and order some, if you put in the coupon code one shot, you get 30% off. Not 5, not 10, not like, hey, if you give us your email, we'll give you 5% off. No, they'll give you 30% off. And every time somebody does that, they donate a little bit to the nonprofit. So go to them. Combat Flip Flops. What's that coupon code for?
About Face
and Combat Flip Flops. You want some flippity floppies or
they send us
slippers,
checks
as I
very
call
regular.
them.
Yep, slippers.
They make some good stuff too, and so they don't just make flippity floppities. They got some cool stuff. Well, same thing with Thigh Huggers. They don't just have silkies.
Jiu-jitsu gis, all kinds, or not gis, jiu-jitsu rash guards and stuff. All kinds of good stuff. I love their stuff.
Yeah, I really like the seasonal stuff from Thigh Huggers.
Yes.
Lance is over there just crushing it on seasonal things.
We have 2 new sponsors as well. So now we are sponsored by Core 3 Drywall. So Katie Druva, I don't know if you remember her. She came on the show. Was it?
We were just in a
Just
social
before Christmas
media
time.
talk
Yes.
yesterday. Yep.
Yes, super cool chick. So Core 3 Drywall is a huge sponsor of About Face Media. And we're about to partner up. Do you remember One More Wave? Rob Garnett with One More Wave.
Yes.
Take veteran surfing.
Yep.
Look who's about to be our new partner. Got an email a couple days ago. They were looking to work with us.
You know what's really cool?
Yes.
Talking about
everything
surfing.
I say.
Me and the wife talked about surfing yesterday night. She was like,
Seriously.
I didn't know she'd ever tried.
Really?
Yeah.
Mrs. One Shot's going to go surfing.
No, she has in the
Oh.
past.
I didn't even know that either. I know she's an ass kicker. I didn't know she was a surfer too.
Yeah. It went about as well as when she tried to have a motorcycle.
Oh, really?
Not good.
I mean, I'm not good at surfing, but I've done it and I enjoyed it and I want to do it more.
My first experience surfing was absolutely horrible. But after that, when I realized that there's different types of surfing, I enjoyed it very much. But the first time I ever went, I went with one of my buddies who'd been surfing for a few years. He'd been in Hawaii, another Army guy, but he hadn't surfed before. But he kind of dove into it, really liked it. He's like, oh, let's go over here. And I'm like, all right. So we go to North Shore, Hawaii. You don't know
The Mecca.
the Mecca.
Yeah.
The gnarliest
The temple.
freaking waves. And I mean, they weren't as big as like I've seen out there, because you got to realize like there they have 50, 60 foot face waves. Like that's
fucking insane.
That's insanity. Well, they weren't that big. So I didn't think of them as being big. But you got to realize like a 7 foot face wave is a monster when you're learning how to ride.
I would not, but keep talking.
So that's a monster, bro. When you first start, you should be on like 2 to 3 foot on a longboard, cruising, trying to get your bearing about you. But my downfall was the first time I tried to get up on a board, I got up just fine. And I was ripping it for about, I don't know,
3 seconds.
And then I like unknowing how to deal with a wave and a surfboard, basically had to get drug out of the water, unconscious, head split open, like tore up from like bad, bro.
What did you do, dude?
Bad. I got caught in the wave and like I was with where there's reef and hit my head a couple times.
Explains so much.
Well, I've been hit a lot. But then I came to find out that a longboard and 2 to 3 foot faces, I would just cruise. I would swim as far out as the waves would start, and I'd cruise all the way into shore, and I'd get out and lay on the beach.
It's
great fun.
Folks, if you have never surfed, it is super relaxing.
It's amazing.
Check out Ventura Veterans, our buddy Brady Shoemate. Get signed up with them. They will take you surfing. Out in California, in Ventura, California, it's a great place to get started. I mean, unless you're out in Hawaii, which
don't start in Hawaii. Well, don't start on North Shore. Start on any shore but North Shore.
It took forever for me to actually get on a surfboard. I had been signed up for lessons probably 4 or 5 times. Yeah. And I could never, it just never worked out. And then when we were out in Cali, he's like, yeah, we can do that, man. Let's go. And I'm like, wait, what? Really? It was super fun.
Folks, we talk a lot about programs available, programs out there. Don't hold yourself back. There are so many things out there. They're out there for you. And taking advantage of things like that and enjoying life and letting go of some stuff helps you every day forward from there. So that's my 2 cents.
Well, and I need you to stop thinking about it's about you, because it's not anymore. Your family doesn't deserve to deal with what you've got going on and what we have become. We need to get better.
And you can't hide
for
it.
those around. Yeah. You think you're hiding it?
Doesn't
Nope.
matter how deep you stick that stuff in your gut.
You're not.
You're not.
You're making it worse by hiding it.
Comes out real bad, real toxic.
Yeah. And I mean,
so if you care about the people around you, go surfing. Go smash on some steel with Michael. Go on a motorcycle ride, motorcycle relief program. Go on
equine.
Go do the equine therapy we had. Was that last week or the week before last?
It was 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and
go on some whirly bird gun shooting thing
with Brandy.
With Brandy. Trust me, you'll have a good time. I have not gotten to meet Brandy face to face, but I guarantee you're gonna have a good time. I'm gonna talk to her. Fun person.
Well, when I talked to I can't think of her name off the top of my head right now because we've got so many other things going on with the Veterans Equine Therapy in Colorado. You know, I've been talking to her offline a little bit and whatnot. And and same thing with Motorcycle Relief Project. The number one thing you hear, even We Defy, we're gonna have We Defy on the show in just a few weeks. The number one thing you hear,
you know what?
Somebody needs that more than I do.
Usually, like ideas, I don't think we should do live, but I have an idea.
Oh, geez, here we go.
So I have a student that is a sponsored participant.
Yeah, I've rolled with him. Yeah.
Why don't we have him out?
I mean, absolutely.
We'll just even surprise We Defy. Maybe we'll be like, hey, you know about this guy? I know that you sponsor a lot of people. Yeah, We Defy is, near and dear to me because it's part of jiu-jitsu. And I think that's one of the most amazing things for not just veterans, but for anybody therapeutically, especially veterans. But, for anybody and everybody, like jiu-jitsu is amazing in so many different ways. So, the creation of We Defy and the success in We Defy and the amount of people they've been able to help out is amazing.
No doubt. I mean, no doubt. So both of us talking into these microphones have head injuries. The big thing about jiu-jitsu is you're not going to get punched in the head. You're not going to get hit in the head to the point where it's catastrophic for you. If you have a head injury, TBI, your head's a little bit messed up, walk into a jiu-jitsu academy. Just walk into it. And you don't even have to put on a gi, although I think you should. Walk into a jiu-jitsu academy, say, hey, I want to check this out. I want to try it out. Take it for a test drive. Not once in the 20 plus years that I've been doing jiu-jitsu. My kids actually got me into it. Have I ever walked off the mat?
You've been doing jiu-jitsu over 20 years?
No, 20. When were we in San Antonio? Grace, you're listening. When did we live in San Antonio? I started with Mahasinki Jiu-Jitsu. Well, I started with Army Combatives, and that would have been like 07. But yeah, so however many years that is.
17.
Yeah, so plus almost. Yeah.
17 years.
And I've never walked off the mats without a gigantic, stupid fucking smile on my face. I always have, even getting crushed. So Junior says it was 2009 to 2011. So yeah, my kids got me into jiu-jitsu. I did judo before that.
I was not even saying anything. I was just poking.
No,
I was making fun of you. It's
I
okay.
know where you're going with that. So 20 years and you still a blue belt.
20 years still.
How does that work? Like, you don't have to be good at jiu-jitsu. You just have to enjoy it.
And you know what? One of the things that I most commonly hear from veterans is like, I got blown up and I got a bum knee. I've coached blind guys. I've coached people that are paralyzed on half their body.
Yeah, I rolled with that guy.
Yeah.
It's rough. Retired Green Beret.
Yeah, retired Green Beret.
Half of his body doesn't work, and he's still kicking the fuck out of me on the mats.
You have no excuses, just modifications to make.
It's literally for everybody.
It is literally for everybody. It's just different for everybody. I always say your jiu-jitsu is like a fingerprint. It is only yours, and what you're getting out of it is for you.
Wow.
You've never heard me say that?
You're really good at this.
I've done it for a long time.
You're really good at this. Holy shit, your jiu-jitsu is a fingerprint. Holy shit, what is my fingerprint thing?
And you got to think about that as a practitioner. I think that applies to a lot of things, not just jiu-jitsu, but when you're seeking out what is going to give you your therapy, your release, your whatever it is you need to deal with your demons or make life better and happier. It's whatever that is a fingerprint, because it's whatever it is for you.
Nathan Eichhorn, thank you so much for that statement. I appreciate it. Rob's yoga class ain't that bad either. Thanks, man. That actually means a lot coming from you. I really mean that. That means a lot. So thank you for saying that way. It doesn't matter what it is. Just, it's got to be something. You can't chill out in the basement anymore watching First Blood on repeat. Although great movie. And
just looking for the bottom of a bottle in your dark hole. No, can't live there.
Yeah. Get out of it, folks. if you're listening to the show, you got to get out of it. And
I will give you a chance since Nathan brought it up. Why don't you give a little comeback yoga plug?
okay. That's kind of awesome of you. Thank you. For those that don't know, so my hetero life mate here owns a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu academy. That's just why we're big on it. That's why this is what fits for us. He opened up his business and let me, basically, I went and became, took a couple yoga classes, became a yoga instructor. Comeback Yoga gave me a scholarship to go to my How to Be a Yoga Teacher class. When I was done with it, this dude was like, hey man, start teaching a class at our academy. So he let me teach a class on Friday nights at Zenith Authentic Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in Parker, Colorado. That class has now become, and I believe it was April, we label it Comeback Yoga.
Yep.
We are now a Comeback Yoga affiliate.
I have to relook at the email.
Yeah, it's soon. It's coming up real quick, whatever it is.
Yeah. The goal was January 1, but
yeah.
I move like pond water sometimes.
Well, you are running a business and a family and a super secret location and every other thing, and a radio. But yeah, so folks, Google Comeback Yoga. If you had told me however many years ago, oh, you're gonna get into yoga and you're gonna try it and you're gonna
no way. You're going to go help other people.
No way.
Yoga.
I would have never believed you in a million years that I was going to be down with the yoga thing.
10 years ago, I would have told you, not only am I not down with it, there's no effing way you can force me to do that.
Exactly my attitude.
I know.
Exactly. But
so when I said plug, I wasn't meaning just our
I know
class it there. But
I'm getting there.
Comeback yoga in general.
Is yoga for veterans?
Yeah, yoga for veterans. Trauma therapy, yoga. You know how much it costs? You know more about it than me. How much does it cost?
Total? Well, if you add up everything, if you take the cost of, the mat, the space, attending the class, getting signed up, actually showing up, it costs you absolutely nothing.
Yeah, here's what's great.
Show up.
Rob misled you on one thing. At least for our class, it's in a padded room. You don't even need a yoga mat.
You don't even need a mat.
You to physically be there. That's it.
Yeah.
And Rob will guide you through some amazing yoga to help you.
I'm not even a good yoga teacher yet, but I still
you
love
also
doing
bring in other people to help sometimes. So I drifted off there. I don't want to be rude.
See what you did there. But yeah, folks, check out if you are small business owners looking for a great PR guy, get a hold of Rob Garcia, of course, always. Hang on a second. Let me get my Google on here. I already had it, and now it's gone. Hey, so we are at the point now where we got to start talking about are never forgotten. So let me go here. Let's remember those names. So if you don't know, and herein lies the rub. Being in the military, being a police officer, being a firefighter, every single time you walk out the door, your job is a dangerous job. It just simply is. And you're putting yourself in danger. And for that reason alone, we have a lot of respect for what you do. So if you didn't follow, last week, your nation lost 5 Marines. They were flying from Nevada back to California, and their helicopter went down on a training mission, and all 5 on board were killed. Those people were Lance Corporal Donovan Davis, age 21 of Olathe, Kansas. Sergeant Alex Langan, age 23 of Chandler, Arizona. Captain Benjamin Moulton, age 27 of Emmett, Idaho. Captain Jack Casey, 26 of Dover, New Hampshire. And Captain Miguel Nava of Traverse City, Michigan. All were killed in a flight last week. Ladies and gentlemen, when you put your hands together tonight, get on your knees and you're saying your prayers with your family, remember those 5 Marines, or not just remember those 5 Marines, remember their families, and think of what they're going through now as they've lost a member of their family while serving their nation. And that is why we do the Never Forgotten. Remember their names. It's very, very important to us. What do you got for the safety brief, bro?
Crocs are not meant for ranchers. Those of you know, I pretty much.
There's a story there.
I had a hell of a day in Crocs today.
Well,
don't wear Crocs on your ranch.
That's a good one. All right. Footwear is important, ladies and gentlemen. And so, yeah, we've had a lot of snow out here at the super secret location. Proper footwear is extremely important. Wear something that's going to keep your feet warm. Cowboy boots are not it, ladies and gentlemen, and going to give you the footing that you need. What else you got before we kick it off for the rest of the night?
Who we got for next week?
Next week is American Heroes in Action.
So Rambo's coming?
Basically, yes. Interview with Aaron with American Heroes in Action. Awesome. So, yes, I'm looking forward to that show.
Cool. All right, guys, stay tuned. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and you'll get all those updates on people coming in. You can pre-write out your questions if you have one.
Yeah.
See you next week.